Starship goes to orbit almost. Sam Altman gets fired, and Elon Musk is about to go thermonuclear. It's been quite a day. Let's take a look. Hey y'all, it's Dr. Know-It-All. This is going to be an entirely X-based episode, which is really cool. Everything is on X. I will leave a link to most of these, at least, in the description. I can't do all of them. This is also going to be kind of in real time, and I'm just going to talk my way through it, so we'll see how things go. But there's a lot to cover here. I want to start with, with Starship's launch. If you haven't seen the episode, Brighter with Herbert was very kind to invite me on, and so it was Brighter with Herbert and Scott, of course, and me, and we were talking, and then Xander joined us for a while live from down in the Boca Chica area. Anyway, so just check that out. I'll put a link to that up in the description so you can look at it. This is Elon talking about the magnificent machine here launching. It's very impressive stuff. And you can see it is such a huge behemoth of a ship that it just takes it forever to get going there. So anyway, beautiful stuff. Obviously, there are places to watch the launch from many, many other places. This is a really, really nice one. Let me blow this up a little bit here. This one shows, this is S.E. Robinson, one of the other lovely folks on Rebellion Air. So great person, but also just watch, because you can see there's like a trailer park here. I think this is the KOA or maybe the state park. But anyway, down here, you can see houses and stuff, and it gives a sense of scale. Oh, let me just turn this down. There we go. Don't need to hear that. But anyway, it gives you a sense of scale when this thing takes off, just how freaking big it is, because it's about 5 or 6 miles away from this location, or 10K, about that range. And look at it, just dominates the entire scene. It is huge. So it's really pretty, very impressive. Not pretty impressive, very impressive. This is literally taking science fiction and turning it into reality. It's just beautiful stuff. And then we have a couple of lovely shots that Elon reposted from SpaceX. This is the hot staging. So if you don't know, there's a nice close-up here. I got a fever at 103. I love it. Hot staging. Check it and see. So anyway, this looks like a painting. It looks like something that Midjourney would dream up if you asked it to do a hot staging or something. But that is the second stage actually ignites while the first stage. You can see that 3 of the engines are still lit down here on the booster stage. And so it's still thrusting upward, because remember, if you stop thrusting, never stop thrusting, right? I need to have a shirt made with that on it. But anyway, if you stop thrusting in weightlessness, all of the liquid propellant will slosh around inside, and you won't have anything that's, you need something to push it downward so that gravity acts on it so that the engine can take in propellant. So basically the idea is here, you shut off 30 of the 33 engines, 3 of them still keep operating, and then you fire up all 6 of the top ones. They then, there's like a hot staging ring with broken up areas so that the exhaust can come out. And that is this really, really cool look right here. As the exhaust is actually coming out, there's 3 hold down clamps from the bottom to the top stage. They release, and then it takes off. And then the upper stage, the bottom stage never stops boosting. It continues on and continues to boost, and then goes immediately into a boost back burn because it doesn't have ullage motors. So if it stops thrusting, it doesn't have any way of getting the propellant to sink back down again until it's under gravity again, when you have the grid fins and you have air resistance down lower. So anyway, just amazing stuff. And let me turn this sound down here too as well. But another view from up top. This is a new one that I had not seen until just a minute ago. This is absolutely beautiful looking. So here, drone shot up above. I have no idea what happens to the drones after this. I don't know if they just get if that's it, if they sacrifice themselves, it's like rest in peace drone, or whether they can make it, because it seems like a lot of the shockwaves and stuff like that are coming would be pretty devastating to it. But I don't know, maybe they have a really big zoom lens on the thing, so it's not as close as it looks like it is to the tower. You can see it starting to do the pitch program here right off the tower, and to get out. So this would be looking north. So South Padre should be in the background, someplace down there. I don't know where the people were watching from. And then you can see it's just getting out of there. And yeah, just absolutely beautiful. Or maybe, no, actually, I think it might be looking back towards land. So it might be looking a little bit westward in that case. Anyway, super, super cool. Absolutely beautiful stuff there. And then this is a great one. K10 said, it looks like a cigarette lighter went to orbit, and then so somebody, Tesla Trillion had to do this. So yeah, there's Elon smoking Starship. So yeah, just beautiful. I thought that was really, really funny. So anyway, and then one more, we got a beautiful like close up of the hot staging. It's just stunning. I mean, what can you say? That's just absolutely stunning. It's stunning that they're able to track this because this thing's moving at, what was it, 5,000, 6,000 kilometers an hour at this point. So it's really cruising. It is very high up. It's just very impressive stuff. So anyway, sorry. And one more, I have a lot of these. Sorry, I've got a whole bunch of these pictures because I just couldn't get over it. But anyway, John Krause, excellent space photographer. Let me shrink this one down just a little bit so you can see it. But I mean, wow. And if you compare this to the launch back on April 20th, speaking of smoking the Starship, there were a whole bunch of these engines were out. I think 3 or 4 were out, at this point in the flight back then. So this looks way, way, way better. Yes, it did have both the booster and the Starship had probably flight termination systems. Scott and I both believe that the booster had flight termination that took place on it. I think actually I didn't catch his, but he just did a post very recently. Actually, let me look it up. You can see who the people I've been searching for are. And if I find this, boy, that's not helpful. So I don't know why I'm not getting Scott on here. There we go. So anyway, yeah, so he has this nice post here where he broke it down frame at a time, and we did this in the video. But this frame is the important one here. This appears to be I believe the flight termination system. I believe that's where it is. It looks like it happens all at once in this mid section. That would be about where the methane tank would be, probably towards the bottom of that, I believe. And so that looks like an unzip, and it happens really, really fast. There's like 2 frames, right? That's the next frame. So it happens between frames, but it looks like in that one frame that the termination system may have been fired. So it may have been misbehaving, and it may have been fired intentionally, or it still might have rapid unscheduled disassembly. So it might have been a rapid scheduled disassembly. If this was indeed the flight termination system, this is excellent, because that means that the FTS worked great this time. It didn't take a really long time to happen. The booster stage was pretty much out of sight, but you could see a little poof from orbit as it did its flight termination system. Something went on for that. Hey y'all, it's Dr. Know-It-All. Have you noticed my new glasses? Well, how about these? Or these. They look fantastic, don't they? And with Glasses USA, I was able to shop for these from the comfort of my own home, including even getting my prescription filled for these glasses. If you didn't already know, Glasses USA is one of the largest eyewear retailers in the United States, offering thousands of eyeglasses and sunglasses from makers like Oakley, Ray-Ban, Gucci, and many, many more. And what's even better, you can get these frames starting as low as $39, 70% off retail. Glasses USA has really cool technology where they scan your face, and then you can virtually try on any of the glasses from the comfort of your own home. And if all of the amazing choices are a bit overwhelming, Glasses USA has a quiz you can take, which only takes about a minute and suggests the right pair of glasses based on your face shape and your needs. And here's something really cool. This particular frame is part of Glasses USA Save the Tortoise collection, inspired by beloved endangered tortoise species and their commitment to help preserve them. Together with the American Tortoise Rescue Foundation, Glasses USA created a unique eyewear collection that takes inspiration from endangered tortoises, and up to 10% of the proceeds are being donated to the foundation. So what do you think? These are pretty amazing, aren't they? And there are thousands more for you to choose from. And if you use my link in the description in the next 24 hours, there is a massive savings waiting for you. So be sure to check it out. Once again, thank you to Glasses USA for sponsoring today's video, and be sure to check out my link in the description for your exclusive savings offer. And now let's get back to it. Turning from the amazing news with SpaceX to a couple of absolutely stunning things. This is a pretty impressive statement here. Elon Musk, and I'm not going to get into all the details of this, but Elon Musk has been accused of some terrible, terrible things. And he's basically, he has said that he was going to put together, I think, what did he call them? Junkyard dogs or something like that. He was putting together a legal team to sue the pants off of people. And this was like a year ago. So he has some really nasty lawyers on his bench. And apparently he is going to be going after Media Matters. So the split second court opens on Monday. X Corp will be filing a thermonuclear lawsuit. Yeah, see, not clickbait, people, against Media Matters and all those who colluded on this fraudulent attack on our country. And then you can see a statement by X, and down here, he actually says their board, their donors, their network of dark money, all of them. So dang. Oh, I need to like that one. I'm with X. You can state that I'm standing with X if you want to, or not. You can disagree with this. So anyway, these are the things. So right here, these are the facts, this middle section that are bullet pointed. I'm not going to read all of it, but basically the accusation is that they manipulated things to create advertisements that would go next to posts that would be considered very, very undesirable. And then they would post this and say how X is not controlling bad behavior. And again, I'm not even going to mention what kind of bad behavior, because YouTube, it being what it is, I don't want to get in trouble. But they, you can look. It's pretty easy. Just look back at Elon Musk's post over the past couple of days. Yes, probably could have said a few things better than he did, but he's being pilloried. X is being pilloried. And so this will be really interesting. He said that the what is it called? The disclosure part is going to be really amazing. And I fully agree with that. It's going to be quite interesting. Okay, so turning from the thermonuclear stuff to also something fairly thermonuclear, which is that OpenAI announces a leadership transition, and like shocked everybody, including Sam Altman. CTO, Chief Technology Officer Mira Murati, appointed interim CEO to lead OpenAI. Sam Altman departs the company. Now, this is really interesting because generally speaking, when a CEO is asked to leave, they get the option of writing their own narrative. They're like, I want to spend more time with family. I want to go do this or that or something, right? That's the normal behavior. In this case, it's quite clear nobody gave him that option and he's fired. So the important paragraph here, and you can read the rest of this again, you can pause the screen if you want. Mr. Altman's departure follows a deliberative review process by the board, which concluded that he was not consistently candid in his communications with the board, hindering its ability to exercise its responsibilities. The board no longer has confidence in his ability to continue leading OpenAI. So the guess, the sort of, this is all speculation, please understand it, but the speculation at this point, and sorry, my dog is sleeping next to me, she snores. So if you hear snoring, it's my dog, not me. Hopefully not you either. Hopefully this is interesting enough. But anyway, the board, there was Ilya Sutskever, who's one of the founders and also sits on the board. The notion apparently is that he doesn't want to rush things. He doesn't want to push out the technology too quickly and think more about the commercial end of things. He wants to keep it on the research end of things and make everything safe. Whereas Sam Altman, as has been very clear from his public statements, really wants to push forward and push forward and push forward. That's, again, speculation. Nobody knows, but that is the speculation that is going on right now. So then we can turn to Greg Brockman. Actually, let's look at Sam's first statements here. Yeah, let's look at Sam over here first. So Greg, also, we're going to get to that in just a second. But Sam said, well, first, actually, sorry, I keep picking the wrong ones. I love you all. Today was a weird experience in many ways, but one unexpected one is that it has been sort of like reading your own eulogy while you're still alive. The outpouring of love is awesome. One takeaway, go tell your friends how great you think they are. So you can see he was fairly disturbed by all of this stuff. This was around midnight, at least my time. So he obviously had a lot to take in. He apparently was called in, and it was a 15-minute conversation with Ilya in which he was told, so he was like, impromptu Google Meet, come on. He gets on there at noon. He's fired. Greg Brockman is called to a 12:23 meeting. So, these things are happening really, really fast. And then all of this stuff goes down. And then Greg, he was on the board. I think he was the chairman of the board, actually, which is really crazy. Actually, he definitely was the chairman of the board. So this is a board coup, but not the chairman of the board. So there's some crazy stuff going on here. So neither he nor Sam knew anything. And Greg was given, he was told he was being removed from the board, but that they needed him on the team so that his role as a programmer, he's an absolutely genius person. His role as a programmer and his role in the company was safe, but he was no longer on the board. He then said, no, thank you, I quit. So he is no longer with OpenAI either. And the rumor now, of course, is that he and Sam are going to start their own company. I also would imagine that Elon might be especially going after Greg. There are also apparently a bunch of other defections coming out of OpenAI at the same time. So it's probably a free-for-all. Google is probably going crazy. Meta's going crazy. Apple's going crazy. Everybody is probably trying to grab these people. The world of super high-end AI researchers is really small, and they get paid on, not that that's what really matters to anybody, but they get paid on the order of sports stars. So $500,000 with $1 million signing bonus would not be at all out of the ordinary for these people. In fact, probably more than that. So this is the kind of thing we're talking about. These people are in that kind of demand. And these people leaving, there's just not that many great researchers. And so these people leaving is a big deal for OpenAI. Anyway, Greg said, Sam and I are shocked and saddened by what the board did today. They didn't know. Let us first say thank you to all the incredible people who have worked with OpenAI, our customers, our investors, and all of those who have been reaching out. We too are still trying to figure out exactly what happened. Here is what we know. Last night, Sam got a text from Ilya asking to talk at noon Friday, which is yesterday as I'm recording this. Sam joined a Google Meet. Don't join impromptu Google Meets, man. And the whole board, except Greg, which is Greg, so this might have been written by a lawyer here, was there. Ilya told Sam he was being fired and that the news was going out very soon. Then at 12:19 p.m., so look at that. That's a very, very small window from noon to 12:19. Greg got a text from Ilya asking for a quick call at 12:23. Ilya sent a Google Meet link. Greg was told that he was being removed from the board, but it was vital to the company and would retain his role, and that Sam had been fired. Around the same time, OpenAI published a blog post. And that's the blog post that we saw. As far as we know, the management team was made aware of this shortly after, other than Mira, who found out the night prior. So again, didn't even know that there. The outpouring of support has been really nice. Thank you, but please don't spend any time concerned. We will be fine. Greater things coming soon. Yeah. So anyway, they're on to the next thing, and financially, I'm sure none of them. In fact, this is why I wanted to get to what Sam said right here, which is if I start going off, in other words, spilling the beans about what happened, the OpenAI board should go after me for the full value of my shares. It is quite well known that Sam has 0 shares of OpenAI because he started Y Combinator. He's got plenty of money. He's like, I don't need the money. So basically what he's saying is I can say anything I want and you can't stop me. So that's the basic statement that's going on here. So this is a very ironic statement. This is not a serious statement at all. So I think, Mr. Beast, I love that he responded to this and said, this is a better cliffhanger than any show I've watched. I'd give anything to know what happened. And then Daniel, which is great, said, have 6 drinks and tell us what you think. So it's a shame because that was 12:32. It would have been great if like at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, Sam had like written like a drunk post and not drunk tweet. But anyway, that would have been pretty fabulous. So anyway, Jim Pham, who is a Nvidia researcher here, let's see if I can get his senior AI scientist at Nvidia. He said, I was OpenAI's first intern in 2016. I used to chat about the next learning paradigm with Ilya, engineering, and Greg, and scaling and safety with Dario. The summer reshaped my perspective and taste on AI research forever. I have a huge admiration and respect for all of them. Yesterday's events didn't change that. Greg, Ilya, and Dario are among the most brilliant and mission-driven people I know, even though their mission now diverge into OpenAI, Anthropic, and whatever Greg Sam are starting next. So Anthropic also started by former OpenAI people. And, I guess I was saying that all these other companies would be snagging these researchers. NVIDIA will be out there too, because of course they want their researchers as well. Betting against any of these people is a bad idea. I do think they would be stronger together. 1 + 1 + 1 = 3. OpenAI in 2016 didn't have GPTs, but it surely had the greatest team ever assembled in AI. I was fortunate to be there and witness history. Zooming out, we will inevitably see the birth of new heavyweight competitors, and this isn't necessarily a bad thing for the community. I actually agree with this. AI will be a bit more decentralized, new capital pour in, every party will act with more urgency, and new PhD grads will have at least one extra job offer to consider. This isn't the timeline I expect, but may not be the worst timeline we get. So I think this is actually a very important point. One of the problems that Elon and several other people, the reason why XAI exists and why Grok exists is because, number one, OpenAI became closed AI. And so, Elon had issues with Sam about that. But also, the OpenAI was started because Google was the 500-pound gorilla in the room. And they wanted to diversify the number of competitors. So if this does splinter off and they start, I don't know, really OpenAI or something else, whatever it is. If they start another company, that's actually all to the good because more decentralization right now is for the best. One of the big problems currently is that the governments and funding and things like that could reduce the number of players to a very small number, and that small number will have an outsized effect on the world and could stifle innovation from other people. So I'm very much of an open source. Lots of people doing this is a good thing, not a bad thing. So I think this is all to the good that this is happening. Crazy that it did, though. It's just so nutty that it just took place like this. And it does sound like a board coup. I got a lot of vibes of Steve Jobs. I got vibes of Elon Musk and what was it? Was it Zip that he was in? I can't remember. But anyway, that he was on an airplane flight and the board coup happened while he was in an airplane. And so he couldn't respond to it. And, as soon as he landed, then they told him, this is from Walter Isaacson's book. And I'm sorry, I don't have the details right in my head. But anyway, that's the basic scenario. So this is just classic Silicon Valley behavior. It's just like doing a board coup. It seems like pretty standard stuff that's going on here. But anyway, absolutely astounding. One really interesting thing is that Sam Altman, oh gosh, less than a week ago, said that in 4 times in his experience at OpenAI, and he's been there since its inception, he got to experience them pulling the veil back on knowledge and understanding more in a fundamental way. And he said in this talk, he said, 4 days ago, I got to experience that for the 4th time. So what happened 4 days ago and what did it have anything to do with this? My thought is that potentially, yes. One thing that I didn't know about this was that Microsoft's deal with OpenAI is that Microsoft has access to everything pre-AGI that OpenAI creates. So in other words, ChatGPT, all that kind of stuff is pre-AGI. It's not artificial general intelligence yet, but they don't have access to their AGI tech. So did their researchers, and potentially even Greg, come up with something that they feel is a real step towards AGI? And if they did that cause a sudden inflection point between what Sam wanted and what Ilya and obviously most of the board wanted as well? Was there something that inflected right there? Because even a couple of weeks ago, things seemed to be pretty good. Now, apparently after their dev day, there's been a lot of issues with OpenAI in terms of like downtime for their models and stuff like that. So growing pains, stuff that wasn't working as well as it could be. But I don't think that's enough to fire a CEO in such a strong manner, and also to have a number of people from the company join him leaving. If it really was he like screwed up completely or something like that, then he would have been let go and everyone else would have stayed and said good riddance. But a lot of people have joined him. I know of at least 5 or 6 that have left. And that's a significant number with a small team like that, and not just like regular rank and file workers, but people up at the top end of things. So I have no idea whether that has happening, whether that had anything to do with those two things have anything to do with each other, but it's really intriguing. What in the world was that veil that they lifted up and went another step forward? So really interesting stuff. I'm fascinated to find out what's going on. All right. So yeah, it's been a really, really busy day plus, and I am just, it's so cool to be part of all this stuff. What can I say? The thermonuclear lawsuit part is pretty much, but I really actually think this OpenAI firing is going to ultimately lead to, it's sort of like a forest fire. It like scatters the seeds and allows new trees to grow. So it's a good thing. Ultimately, it's going to kind of burn the landscape for a little bit and create some uncertainty. And Microsoft is probably crapping their bed. Satya Nadella had no idea about this. They put out a statement after this happened and they're like, we still like OpenAI. We have a commitment with them. So, they don't know what the hell's going on. So nobody knew about this. It's absolutely crazy. But anyway, so uncertainty in the near term. In the long term, it's spreading the seeds of intelligence and things like that further out. And so probably it will create a better situation. And then, of course, what can you say about Starship's launch? It was amazing. Yeah, it's unfortunate that Starship itself came this close to making it to orbit. It was actually going 24,000 kilometers an hour, which is just about they wanted to get to just shy of orbital velocity, and that's what they did, but then they had to fire the flight termination system. Again, I think from looking at it, it appeared, because they didn't have any video from the rocket, which was really unfortunate, but you could see in the tracking system that what happened at the end was you saw all of a sudden you could start to see stuff coming off the back of the rocket, and methane burns clean. It burns clear. So there should be no soot above the atmosphere. And so whatever we were seeing was engine rich. In other words, it was starting to eat the engine bell or the combustion chamber, or one of the engines went out or something, but there was definitely an outflow of material that was not methane and oxygen. So something went wrong, whether that was from the hot staging and the hot staging got one of the engine bells damaged or something, and it just took a couple of minutes for that to happen, whether one of the engines just couldn't handle that stress for that long, because it's a long burn. It goes on for a really long time. And there's 6 of them, whether it was all 6 of them just so close together that one of the center engines was just overheated because there was too much heat coming off of them, who knows? But whatever it was, it looked very much like things were becoming engine rich, and at least one of the engines was starting to eat itself, and that caused the flight termination system to go off. So it's a little unfortunate. As Scott said in our live stream, it's actually unfortunate to fire the full flight termination system at that point. It would have almost been better to just like shut it down and let it like flow around, because it would have come back and landed in the Pacific on its own. A flight termination system means that there's lots of little bits of things flying around basically in orbit now, and a lot of them are still up there as I'm recording this. And, you know, depending on how much of a trajectory upward they got, some of them could be up there for several weeks because, you know, it got pretty high up. So they could be there. It's not a Kessler syndrome kind of event, but it's definitely not as good as if they just allowed the ship to go in one piece and then re-enter the atmosphere out of control over the Pacific Ocean and break up and everything. That would have been a better solution. But anyway, you know, I am not a rocket scientist, so I will leave that to the professionals. It just seems from an armchair standpoint that maybe that wasn't the best decision, but it probably actually was. So I hope you all really enjoyed this. This was a lot of fun to record this. And like I said, it was just all one shot. I hope you enjoyed my dog snoring in the background. If you did enjoy this, please do like it so other people can find it. It's very important to YouTube's algorithm, as is subscribing. I really would appreciate it. 60% of you are not subscribed. So if you haven't and you wouldn't mind hitting the subscribe button, I would really appreciate it. One day I would love to get to 100,000. In the meantime, I'd like to get to 69,420. Very, very close to that number. So that'd be fun. Don't not subscribe if you see it at that number. Just keep subscribing after that. But I'd like to hit that milestone. That'd be fun. Anyway, I also would like to thank my YouTube channel members, my Patreon patrons, and of course my ex-subscribers here. Thank you so much for all the work that you do and all the help that you do helping this channel to, you know, be as good as it is. It's just me doing this, but I have all of you people supporting me, and I really appreciate that. And if you're interested in a whole bunch of really cool merch, check out our merch store. Link is in the description. We have TeslaBot t-shirts, the Tesla meme t-shirt, Success is a Possible Outcome, 4680 battery cells. All of that stuff is on t-shirts, mugs, tumblers, and on and on. So check it out. And finally, a big thanks once again to Glasses USA for sponsoring today's video. Definitely check out my link in the description to get a really good deal for the next 24 hours. And in the meantime, I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.